Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's the 19th of June, 2021. Coming to the Crusty Canuck podcast. The Green Machine, vaccines, and other political BS. All that and more come up on the show. Please stick around.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me.
Yes, sir.
There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast, a Canadian veteran's point of view on political, social, economic issues and life. Here's Crusty.
Mama always said I had a face for radio.
And that's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I do have a face for radio, and this listener discretion and viewer discretion is advised. I like to use fancy gestures, and I drop a lot of swear words. So this show is not meant for kids, as I said earlier. Basically, if you disagree with the vaccines, you're a racist. And walk our line or else. The Greens and the vaccine. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. In recent events here in Canada, Miss Anna Paul, leader of the Green Party, has, basically said there's a lot of infighting going on with the party herself, considering a couple members of the party left the Green Party and went over to the Liberal side of things. Now, I'm not a Green supporter per se. Now, I believe in the environment, looking after things as we should, i.e. the trees, the water, making sure our garbage looked after properly, making sure there isn't a hell of a lot of mess going around here. But needless to say, my wife and I, we actually sat and we watched the news reports and everything. I don't have any videos queued up for this. I'll leave some audio there for you in the description, but you decide, my listeners and viewers alike. She more or less pulled the racist card. Okay. Now, to sum it all up, here's a lady who's well-educated. She's black. She's Jewish. Not that it matters. I don't judge people's performance based on the color of their skin or the religious belief. However, I judge people on merit. Okay. Now, I've had disagreements with Elizabeth May in regards to how she would promote the green agenda. And they're basically in the same bed with the Liberals and the NDP alike, where it comes to taking more money from you and putting it in their pockets, and without any substantial plans on how to promote a greener lifestyle. Okay. And I've said numerous times in the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, in order for us to have a greener lifestyle, we have to innovate on our own, meaning we can plant more trees in our properties or add more green or add more plants, and learn to be more self-sufficient in regards to generating our own hydroelectricity, moving our water, keeping things clean, and, just being self-reliant. I think that's the best environment policy out there. Now, I'm not trying to disenfranchise anybody who has an education or anybody who has gone that extra mile to earn the credentials that Miss Anna Paul has. But what struck me the most was when she had this press conference, always pulling the race card. Now, I guess people are saying to her within the party some terrible things. Supposedly, there's some allegations there in regards to her gender and her color and her faith. Now, I guess the statement or the sayings that are going on or the issues that are at hand, there's some kind of disagreement happening with Palestine and the Israel issue. That's been going on for years. That's not a new dynamic. That's been going on since Israel's inception in 1947. Okay. And regardless of how you feel about the Palestinians or the Israelis, as far as I'm concerned, if you are a federal party member, doesn't matter if you're green, NDP, conservative, liberal, rhinoceros, shoehorn, gender balanced circus dynamics, I don't care. Okay. We have to worry about Canada. Okay. We should be worrying about Canada. We should be worrying about the issues when it comes to Canadian policies and when it comes to looking after Canada. Okay. The environmental policies alike, environmental records. How do we get our oil to market? How do we keep our oil clean? How do we keep extracting these resources in a timely yet safe and effective manner? Okay. Now, I had a great talk yesterday with a guy named David Moon. Has a little TV channel he's making up there. He restreams it off his Facebook and whatever. He's an up-and-comer, I guess. Nice guy. First Nations, works hard, does his thing. Not that it matters. I don't care if your First Nations are white or black. I don't care how you identify. I get so tired of having to say that because I like to treat people like people. period. Okay. I don't care what color you are. I don't care where you're born. I don't care how you identify. You're nice to me. I'm nice to you. It's that simple. Okay. And we had a great talk about racism and free speech and history and acknowledging lands and all this too. And to summarize, we have a lot more common sense coming to the surface now, more than ever. I would say the past 6 years, the way these governments have ruled. Now, I look at Green Party mandates, and of course, Elizabeth May comes to mind, and some of the ridiculous statements she has said over the years. There's footage out there with she had a few drinks, and she was saying that Omar Kadar had some great class, more class than some of the politicians he's working with. And I'm like, okay, whatever, Elizabeth, have another drink. And she was also seen at I think a parade 2 years ago where she's complaining about oil and gas in this country, and yet she's getting driven around in a Dodge Viper, one of the biggest gas guzzling sport cars that were ever created. But I digress. Needless to say, I look at the green mandates as, okay, they have something to say. They have a decent platform, of course, protecting the environment, but they're still one of the most woke parties out there in regards to the whole woke culture and promoting the cancel culture. Now, I don't know what was said to Anime Paul behind closed doors. There's information out there. I'll leave links in the description for you all to decide to figure out for yourselves. But based on the information that I've read, and this is my hypothesis. Yes, my hypothesis in regards to what was done. Stop pulling the race card, folks. Okay. I don't care, Anime, what your background is. I don't care your education. I don't care where you've been. It's great that you're Jewish. Great. So you can speak Hebrew. Good for you. You can speak French and English. 3 languages. Fan-fucking-tastic. Well done on you, sister. But I don't really care about this race baiting crap. So I think there's a little more to the story than what we're being told. Now, maybe she is a wonderful human being. Maybe she's a nasty person. I don't know. Okay. But I just find a little odd that from the Green Party, there's all this crap about division and racism and sexism. And I'm thinking, well, if this party is made up of a bunch of environmentalists, why is there so much blatant racism and misogyny? Oh my God, how dare you question her abilities? And we've been seeing that a lot lately, folks. We've been hearing that a lot lately. Catherine McKenna, last election. Okay. Someone spray painted the word CUNT on her office. Okay. Now, as much as I disagree with anybody damaging one's property, there's usually some justification when someone does that. It's not like they spray painted bitch or douchebag or whatever on her door. They called her the see you next Tuesday. Now, based on the decisions and some of the press junkets that Miss McKenna has promoted from her time in office till now, okay, she has said some really stupid things. She's been quoted as saying, well, being in Parliament has taught me that if you say it loud enough numerous times, people are going to believe you, and other stupid things like that, right? So if someone called her that, there's probably a reason for it. And that's what gets me about this day and age, ladies and gentlemen, is that the moment you criticize any politician, especially female politician, you're put on trial for that. You can't say that. You can't do that. Oh, that's misogynistic. Oh my God, that's sexist. Oh, how dare you? How dare you say those terrible things to me? And my logic is this: if you're going to be in the public eye, you're open to scrutiny, you're open to criticism, and you're open to suggestion. That's the way the cookie crumbles. We're constantly being told, well, it is what it is, and that's the way it is. Well, that's the way it is too when you're in the public eye. I myself, I've faced some scrutiny. I faced some criticism. I've had some wonderful people give me some wonderful emails about my privilege, and you don't understand the bigger picture. And yet here's a bunch of people apparently infighting what's happening in Israel, yet they're not focusing on what they should do. And what they should be focusing on is Canada.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And the thing being too, ladies and gentlemen, if you like and hear what you see, please click like and subscribe. Share this all around if you can, all your social media platforms, what have you. I was trying to post a header there for my Sunday fastball there on Facebook. And I have a page on Brightian.com. Now, I didn't realize that Brightian and Facebook don't get along. So you can find me on brightonian.com too under Crusty Canuck if you have trouble getting to other links there. But anyway, carrying on, you can also find me on Supercast as well. $5 a month gets you all of my Crusty Canuck episodes. Audio, of course, censorship free. $5 a month helps you and helps a Canadian company and helps Canadian podcasters such as myself to get along and get ahead. So please consider Supercast today. Anyway, carrying on. The Greens and the vaccines, right? So there's now talk of vaccine passports too coming around, right? Wow, this is great. Have your papers, you got to put a little download thing on your cell phone here and make sure that you've had your shots. And Manitoba and Alberta alike now are having lotteries. So you get entered in a lottery to get yourself the jab. Interesting. And for those people who do want to travel outside of Canada, they're really pushing this whole vaccine issue. Okay. They're pushing the whole vaccine issue that you better hurry up and get your shots or else. Now, I don't know about you, and I've had people in my life that have gotten their shots and done the right thing and all that, and good for them. Okay. I'm not getting them for the sole reason because you're forcing them. Okay. You're forcing them on me over a respiratory infection that has been fatal for some people. Yes. People that have had resting conditions, people that had issues prior to the beer bug. Okay. And you're forcing me to do something I don't want to do. Okay. Now, every year they talk about flu shots. Now, I've said this before. I haven't had a flu shot in about 10 years. And I'm still here. So what's that tell you? I try to eat right. I try to exercise. I know I smoke too much. You've seen me smoke numerous cigarettes here in the podcast, on my live streams, and hear me take a puff here and there when I was doing my audio. But needless to say, ladies and gentlemen, okay, you cannot force people to do things. Okay. You cannot force people to inject things in them. It's up to the individual. It's up to the individual if he or she wants to light up a smoke, spark a joint, take a drink, do that extra mile on the treadmill, or lift that extra 20 pounds during their reps. Hey, not a problem. That's up to the individual. Now, what gets me is that a lot of these governments now are all for it. All for it. There was speculation before about it, right? Coming from our health ministers, of course, Dr. Tam and Patty Haydo, the graphic designer extraordinaire, right? Talking about glory holes and gloves and no gloves and masks and no masks. So there's never really any concrete decisions the first, 6 months of this issue when it come to surface, right? And I know people are getting sick and people have died. And my condolences to the families out there that have lost a loved one due to this ridiculous fucking beer bug and the ridiculous mandates that pursued this in order in the name of public safety. Right? So you have to download something on your phone or a piece of paper stating that you're good to go and you can enter here and enter there and you're no longer a threat. Okay. How is a respiratory infection a threat compared to, let's say, typhoid or to polio or to other nasty things like the bubonic plague? Right? How is that such an issue? Now, there's a few celebrities out there who have had the infection. There are some who have died to complications. But my thing is this. We're constantly being told your body, your choice. So my body, my choice, right? I don't want your needles. I don't want them. I don't want them. And if I get sick, I get sick. I'll own that. That's the thing. That's the joy about being an individual and being free to decide and to think for yourself.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
Anyway, carrying on again, ladies and gentlemen, too, please check me out on Supercast as well, Canadian-based company out of Victoria. They look after Canadian podcasters and promote Canadian content. $5 a month. Join me on the Supercast page. You get all of my podcast audio, censorship-free, plus you're helping a fellow like myself out. You're promoting Canadian content and promoting Canadianism. If that makes any sense. Just help me out if you can. Please click like, share, and subscribe throughout all of your social media platforms, too, if you like to hear what you see. By all means, and please comment. I need some comments there, too, to help the algorithm going on, regardless of where you find me. I'm also on Rumble, and I'm on Brightonian, and I'm working on getting my Gab account and all that sorted out. And I'm trying out Odyssey, too, so please check me out there as well. Anyway, carrying on again, the Greens and the vaccines. So when it comes to the Green Party policies, it's simple. We know. Look after the environment, look after your friends, look after this, keep things clean and tidy. Okay. But they're also one of the first advocates for a carbon tax too. Okay. So how is taking more money out of my pocket and your pocket going to benefit the trees in Alberta or the forest in Northern Ontario or the rainforest in BC? It's not. It's not. Conservation, understanding the growth patterns, understanding the basic biology of how it all works, will keep the environment in check. Okay. We all know you can't cut all the trees down and expect magical things to happen. We all know you can't keep digging for oil and leave holes all over the place and expect magical things to happen. We know that. Okay. And the people I've talked to that worked in the tar sands have tons of information in regards to helping keep things clean and balanced and looked after properly. Okay. Now, I don't agree with their green agenda, period. Okay. I don't agree with the green agenda. I agree with looking after things, keeping things balanced, and making sure people are fed, people are clothed, people have the opportunities to grow and thrive by their own means without government intervention. Okay. I also believe, too, that I'm getting tired of here. Well, I believe there's no racism. There is racism in our society, but I'm getting sick and tired of the whole fucking mantra of, oh, there's racism here. Oh my God, there's systemic racism there. Bullshit. Okay. I like to remind these politicians again, too. Okay. That you're elected. Okay. Doesn't matter what riding you're from. I don't care if you're from the BC interior or the greater Vancouver area. I don't care if you're downtown Toronto or the greater GTA or the greater Montreal area or freaking Kapuskasing, Ontario. I don't care. If you're elected, don't try to tell me that there's systemic racism holding you back from doing your job. Because I know for a fact that every one of you MPs out there is making $183,000 a year. Okay. And you've had 2 raises in 2 years. Okay. So the system is rigged when it comes to your benefits and your welfare, perks and privileges and all that. So this whole time, this pandemic has been going on. And now there are some freedoms that are lingering on the horizon. Oh, well, July 1st here in Alberta, we're going to get some more liberties. We're going to probably have to take off our masks now because there's about 70% of Albertans now who have been injected. Great. But in the same sense, why wasn't this done before without the vaccines? Okay. So you can hand me all the fucking makeshift science you want and everything there. But, I don't buy it. I don't. I really don't buy it. We should have had our freedoms a long time ago. Okay. So while these green parties and liberal parties and NDP parties are sitting there squabbling, talking about racism and sexism and misogyny, right? I would have to agree with Anime Paul when it comes to the fact that Justin Trudeau is not a feminist. Okay. I agree with that, and how he's not an ally of certain situations. Now, there's some speculation that he did something to a 14-year-old girl many moons ago while he was a teacher or facsimile of one. And there's speculations of him groping a reporter that happened 20 years ago. And there's also other speculations where he said some nasty comments to Jody Raybould and other female cabinet members too. Now, I don't buy the whole feminist issue now because there's a lot of women I know personally who've overcome a lot of great odds and have earned things based on merit, not based on gender or the whole victimhood mentality. They bit their lip and they carried on and they persevered. And some of those women have kids. Some of those women were married to good men. Some of them were married to not so good men. Needless to say, they didn't stop and blame every man for their problems. They got off their ass. They went to work and they did the best they could and they excelled. Why? Because they merited. So when I hear people say, oh, I'm a staunch feminist and I believe in this and believe in that, you're just doing it to win votes, Buckeye. You don't generally mean it. You don't. So when I look at things about the whole vaccine issue and the Green Party mandates, all this infighting, what's it promoting? Right? What's it promoting? Now, I'm guilty of mudslinging too. I've been very critical of the governments, yes, and certain politicians, and we all know who, but I get so fucking tired of hearing and seeing this race card being thrown in our faces all the time. It's like a bad John Candy routine, would you like some more racism? Come on. Really? Really? Right? You look at our history. Yeah, there's been some bigotry, and especially when it comes to residential schooling. Okay. That program was a fucking nightmare. Who in their right mind thought that was a good thing? And I mentioned this on Dave Moon TV there last night too. And I'll leave links to his work as well. He's a fucking switched on individual. I highly recommend you check out Dave Moon TV, ladies and gentlemen. But we had to talk about that too. And that whole idea of assimilating one culture into the next. What a terrible fucking stain in our halo. What a terrible fucking stain in our history. But it's history that needs to be learned. It's history that needs to be understood and learned for what it is and what it was. Okay? And I personally believe that every politician and every member of the clergy that had their hands or any association with that should be investigated in a public hearing. And then charges laid accordingly, if need be. Okay? Look into the books. All the records from the Catholic Church, Anglican, United, Presbyterian, any church that had their hands in it, and any politician that's still alive that served on said boards and inquiries since the 1970s. Okay? That's my logic towards that. So when I hear people like Anime Paul complain about racism and sexism, or Yagmeet Singh talk about racism and sexism, really? Like, I'll remind you guys again, too. How did you fuckers get elected? If there's so much rampant racism and sexism in this country, how did you get elected?
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
Really, how did you get elected? Honestly, I know I'm probably beating the rug here, killing, beating a dead horse, but needless to say, ladies and gentlemen, okay, when I look at these politicians speak about how bad they have it, really, do you have it that bad? Okay, the past year or so now, we've been partial to witness all these fucking Zoom meetings and all these online delegations and online inquiries and everything. And there's still a few politicians out there that I do respect, though, who are standing up for the little guy. Hats off to Pierre Poilievre. There's a video that he just did recently about the 5 ways to get rich in Canada. It was quite interesting. And I'll leave a link to that, too, for you all to watch and listen to on your own accord. But it was quite funny. I tried to actually load it for the show here today, but it didn't go over so well. So needless to say, I'll just leave a link in the description for you guys to follow. But he made a very, very valid point how it's okay to be a consultant now in Canada rather than be an actual oil worker or an agriculture or a farmer or to be any kind of blue collar aficionado as we should be, right? It's better to be a consultant. That way you can get a government grant and you can work for places like Air Canada and get yourself a bonus and government money and that kind of thing. But it's pretty tongue in cheek. Like I say, I'll leave it for you all to listen to and watch later. Anyway, carrying on again with the greens and the vaccines, right? Now, there's a friend of mine who was bragging about getting his vaccines. Okay, good for you. I don't really care. I'm glad to see that he's going to be healthy. He's going to be protected against this, nasty respiratory infection. But he was tickled pink that there was going to be a lottery. Ooh, wow. A lottery of $1 million if you get the shot here in Alberta. And I think it's something like 2 million in Manitoba. But I'm just shaking my head going, what the fuck is that? Really? For a disease that's supposed to be so terrible, for infection that's supposed to be fucking terrible, you would think there'd be a little more incentive than a lottery. Now, our friends in the States did the whole giving away burgers and donuts and perks and privileges, hockey tickets, But Alberta, we got to go full blown retard and say, we'll give you $1 million. We'll put a draw in there for $1 million to get more people going, more incentive, right? And some of the anti-vaxxers out there too have all of a sudden, did the whole 180 and stood in line to get their shots too for a chance at $1 million. Maybe they need it. I don't know. Okay. But think about it though for a second, folks. They're promoting this vaccine passport and they're promoting that you get vaccines for your chance to win some big money. And this is money that's coming not just from sitting around. This is coming from the provincial taxpayers in Manitoba and in Alberta, respectively. Right? We don't have a pot to piss in, yet there's money that can be given away if you get the jab. Ooh, incentive. Economically sound, isn't it? Of course. And with hyperinflation lingering around the corner, is that $1 million, let's say if you do win it, is that $1 million going to be beneficial for you? Is it going to hold its value properly or what?
Well, smack my ass and call me Judy.
Really? Is it going to be beneficial? Is it going to help you out in the long run? especially if hyperinflation goes through the roof, lumber going up, gas going up, the cost of living going up. Now, I went to the grocery store the other day and I come out with 2 little bags. Okay. Pieces of meat. They weren't steaks, couple of sandwiches for lunch when I go to work, and a couple of drinks. And I think I got some chocolate too. I'm not sure. Anyway, it was just 2 little bags, nothing fancy. Ended up being about $46. And I'm sitting there, doing the basic math, adding, subtracting. Okay, how's this going to work? $46 for a few items, right? If that's not proof that we're going through a hellstorm, that our inflation is going through the roof because, all these consultants are getting paid, yet the working class is getting up the chuff. Puts things in perspective now, doesn't it? Right? That's the thing, though, folks. When it comes to spending your money, okay, I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money because we've all gone through the fucking ringer this past year when it comes to our savings accounts. And I've said this before, too. I got a couple of friends of mine in Ontario that had about 70 grand tucked away. They're down to about their last 5 or 6 now because of this issue, because of the closures, because of the protests, because of things they were told they can't do to stay indoors and to not go here and not get haircuts and only go to this shop when it's open here and only walk in this line. So the great experiment, as far as I'm concerned, has failed. So regardless, let's say July 1st coming here in Alberta, where they open things up fully and completely, there are people that have collected data on this and try to use it to their advantage. I would say our government, and this isn't a tinfoil thing, ladies and gentlemen. This is a down-to-earth fucking perspective. A well thought out hypothesis, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. And it doesn't look too promising, honestly. So due diligence. That's all I can say about that. And if you want to get a vaccine, go ahead and get a fucking vaccine. I'm not saying here on the show, don't get a vaccine, walk this line, stand up straight. I'm saying use your common sense. Okay. Analyze these parties for what they are. Okay. Like I say, I'm not saying NMA Paul is a victim. No, there's no way she can be a victim of anything. The lady is brilliant. She's got the smart. She's educated. She knows exactly what she's doing. But in the same sense, what kind of people are in the Green Party now calling the shots? Who's behind the scenes calling the shots? Are they educated people too? Are they well-to-do people? Or they grow up in a great household of privilege and honor? Have their mommy and daddies pay for their education? Or are they just terrible people? Or is NMA a terrible person? Does her attitude reflect her leadership potential? Maybe that's a problem. We don't know, but we don't know what's going behind closed doors. But every time I hear the whole victim card, because it's racism, it's misogyny, I don't fucking buy it anymore.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And that's the thing too, ladies and gentlemen. Please check me out on Supercast as well. I'm also working on accounts at Odyssey and Gab and touching up my Brightian. And I'm also part of Rumble now too. So please check me out there as well. Carrying on, vaccines and the greens, or the greens and the vaccines. Okay. Like I say before, ladies and gentlemen, I'm all for the environment. I'm all for great things and innovations and technology. I'm a firm believer in self-sufficiency. I'm a firm believer in doing your own thing to save your money so you, the individual, or the family man, or the family woman, or anybody can thrive. And that's the ultimate goal, is it not? Is that not the ultimate goal for us to thrive? To enjoy our freedom, to enjoy our liberties, to go out and work as many hours a week as we want to pursue whatever academic level, or whatever social level, or whatever physical level we want to, and interact with other people. Is that not the issue? Okay. Isn't it embodied in Western culture, especially here in Canada, to do the best you can with what you got? But it seems like every time we turn around, they're taking more and more from us. So it's getting harder to do the best you can with what they have, because they're taking from you to give to themselves. Interesting. Anyway, this comes to the point of the episode too, where I reintroduce the polar vortex of bullshit, right?
The Canadian polar vortex of bullshit.
And that's right, ladies and gentlemen, where I sitting around and ponder on who earns the award of the Canadian polar vortex of bullshit. And of course, this past week has been really tough. I broke it down to about 3 candidates. And, with the circumstances surrounding us today, the issues and the social issues and all the other panics and other issues to worry about, I would have to say the winner of the Canadian polar vortex of bullshit is, wait for it, Anime Paul, ladies and gentlemen. Anime Paul. Yes. Anime Paul. Congratulations, Miss Anime. You have just won yourself the,
the Canadian polar vortex of bullshit.
Yes, I would say you won the award because you pulled the victim card. You pulled the victim card and you sat there and claimed racism and sexism when really I think the root of the problem is lack of confidence in the party and the party's lack of confidence in you. That's my speculation, ladies and gentlemen. Now, nothing racist but saying that, nothing sexist or misogynistic about it, just looking at the facts as we see them. Maybe she's a nice lady. I know she's a family woman. She's well-educated. She grew up tough. But in the same sense, lay off the victim card, folks, because the moment I hear victim cards under any situation, I tend to lose interest. Really, I tend to lose interest pretty quickly. So, like I say, this has been
the Canadian polar vortex of bullshit.
Well done, Miss Anime Paul. But, and that goes for everybody out there too. If anyone's watching and listening to this podcast, think about that. If you can't get ahead because you think it's because you represent this group or you represent that group or this gender or this identity, really think about that. Okay. Really think about that, because I've had people come up to me and make comments about my head. It's a bit shiny, my height, my career profession, my points of view, my choice in sports. I've had people criticize my marriage, right? But I never pulled the victim card. I've suffered from issues from PTSD, but I didn't sit around and cry my oatmeal. I went and got some help. And regardless of how I was feeling, how down the dumps I was, how many times I second guessed my life, I still persevered to get ahead. Okay. And I have to thank my audience and my viewers like you for helping me along the way inadvertently by tuning into my show, listening to what I have to say, and sending me some great emails and some great comments. I want to thank you, my audience, for giving me that foundation so the aesthetics can be as strong as they should be. Right. Anyway, carrying on, more of the greens and the vaccine. What do we do? What can we do, folks? Other than sit around and pick our noses and hope for the best, but we're going to have to persevere through this. I got to stop smoking too, but we're going to have to persevere, and we're going to have to find the truth. That's what it comes down to. Like I said to Dave Moore on his TV show last night, or his channel, we got to persevere and ask the tough questions and do it as peaceful as possible. Because the last thing I really want to see is more violence. Okay, honestly, the last thing I want to see is more bloody violence. I don't want to see the example they gave us in Minnesota there last year with the George Floyd incident. I don't want to see that, right? I want to see our history be protected. And regardless of how you feel about Sir John A. Macdonald or Ryerson University or anybody who is affiliated with that frame of time, okay, tearing down the statue isn't going to make the problems go away. History is meant for everyone to share and to learn and to dissect at their own accord. But it's not your right to destroy it because you just disagree with it. Okay? We also have to look at the society at that time too. In the 1860s, what was going on? Okay? And I know I'm regurgitating something here, but needless to say, I have to remind my listeners and viewers alike too. The 1860s were not perfect. The United States just came out of a terrible civil war. Okay. Canada was starting to form because there was branches of said colonies all around. And it took a guy like Sir John A to make it a country, regardless how you feel about him. Right? The man had his own pain, his own demons, what have you, based on what I've read, based on what I remember studying in school too. And we did touch a bit on the residential schooling. They didn't go into great detail, but we knew at the time it was wrong and it was terrible, and even more so now. And it's a part of our history we should understand and acknowledge, just like every good bit and every bad bit too. Everything from the Winnipeg riots to how we turned away certain immigrants back in the First World War and in the Second World War. This country's not perfect, ladies and gentlemen. But I tell you this, it's a hell of a lot better than any totalitarian state. Okay? It's a hell of a lot better than living in fear, right? Because I don't want to live in fear, and neither do you, honestly. So let's get back to work. Let's get our MPs rocking. Let's get them working for us again, as they should, right? To represent us, okay? Let's get the municipalities in order too, okay? And realize that they're supposed to be working for their towns and their districts and their counties, right? Alike. Working for the people that say yes to them serving 3 or 4 years or 5 years in some cases, saying yes to their policies. So we have to start getting these people in tune with working for Canada again, okay? And really, I'm at a point where every time I watch Justin on television, I want to puke, honestly. Like, I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys really think too? You know, it's just a shit show, just a real shit show when it comes to it. But needless to say, and I keep digressing, I get so furious with these clowns at times too. But like I say, don't pull the race card. Don't pull the gender card. You know, you'd be hard pressed to find anybody right now who's going to deny you a job because of your race, gender, or belief. Well, actually, beliefs, yeah, because of cancel culture. Because I was a quote unquote victim of being released from a position because of an opinion, right? But that just goes to show who's got strength in this country and who doesn't. Okay. But anyway, I'll carry on do some advertising here too. Like I say, folks, if you like and hear what you see and enjoy, please share this around on all your social media platforms too. Get the word out there. Do what you can. And just follow the heading at the end of the screen there too. You can follow me at supercast.tech, censorship free. $5 a month gets you the Crusty Canuck podcast, all audio, censorship free too. So please give me a hand, help me out. And there's other places you can donate too. You can donate at PayPal or just go to my website at crustycanuck.ca, donate online. You'll find links of donations there if you'd like to. And please, I'm working on some videos and still shots from my shop, but I do have a shop, customizedgirl.com/s/Crusty Canuck. I've got hats, I got swimsuits, I got t-shirts, got tank tops, got lots of goodies, Crusty Canuck paraphernalia. So please check that out and get yourself some Crusty Canuck swagger today. It is summertime, so ladies, get yourselves a Crusty Canuck swimsuit, and men, get yourselves some Crusty Canuck shorts for those long days on the beach and just hanging out, being cool and Canadian. So, and if you want to email me, please feel free to email me, crustybcanuck67@gmail.com. Send me your facts and figures out there. And my floor is still open, ladies and gentlemen, for anyone in the Liberal Party, any federal or provincial member of the Liberal Party. I'm opening my platform for you to debate me on things such as our foreign policy, our economy, and our social structures you guys keep fucking with, right? So please, if you want to engage me in a debate, you can, right? That's the thing. Like I say, please, if you want to donate, crustycanuck.ca at donations. Donate today. That's if you want to. I'm not going to sit here and demand coin and demand cash. But if you do want to donate and help me along, I'd like to make this a full-time commitment, right? Please consider donating today, ladies and gentlemen. And please click like, subscribe, all that good stuff on YouTube and other media platforms. And don't forget to send me a few comments too. Right? Another thing, as I promised to my friends there too, check out the Veterans Coalition Party of Canada. This is not a campaign trail I'm promoting. So if anyone from Elections Canada wants to sit and dissect my show, feel free to. But I'm giving people the option here too. I know people get frustrated with the Conservatives and the Liberals alike, rightfully so. But there is a choice out there too. The VCP. Just follow the link at the header at the bottom of the screen here, Veterans Coalition Party of Canada, and look into it. It's made up of veterans, yes, but it's also made up of first responders, some ex-conservatives, some ex-LP, but basically blue-collar-based people who want to use common sense and bring it back to Parliament yet again without worrying about how things look. But they want to worry about the foundation to keep things strong and keep things tight. So please check out the Veterans Coalition Party today, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So anyway, carrying on again, last few minutes of the show here. I'm going over about 40 minutes. I try to keep it somewhat 40 odd minutes or so too. So that way you, my listeners, my audience alike can actually get just my perspective, and you can weigh in on it later too if you want. But like I say, this has been episode 134, the Greens and the vaccine. The Greens more or less pushing the whole agenda on NMA Paul, walk our line or else, or maybe she's enforcing that. We don't know. And of course, the vaccine freaking passport here. Lovely, isn't it? Yes. Instilling more fear in the Canadian public, ladies and gentlemen. That's great leadership, isn't it? Not quite. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 134, the Greens and the vaccines. Pardon my ranting, but that's how I roll. I'll sit there and get facts and figures, and I'll formulate, and I'll just go off the top of my head. I do write notes at times, but this episode, I basically just winged it. I hope you like and hear what you see. Please click like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Like I say, share it around. Give me some comments there in the comments section, what have you. Keep the rhythm going. Let people know there's other voices out there other than what they're told to see and read on mainstream media. Like I say, folks, I've been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful 19th of June, 2021. I almost said 2020. 2021. It's a nice day outside. I'm going to go out finish some gardening. I got to finish planting my potatoes, but besides that, all is good, right? Do what you can to help each other out to the best of your ability, right? Help a neighbor out, maybe help them with their garden. Help some seniors out, cut some grass, give a few bucks to here and there to somebody if you can afford it. Maybe buy some extra groceries for those people in need, and just basically watch each other's backs. And it's just a matter of being good to people, okay? Don't worry about identities. Don't worry about gender this, gender that. Just try to be good to people. It's that simple, okay? And that's not some right-wing conspiracy or a centrist conspiracy. That's just about being a decent fucking human being, right? Like I say, look after your friends and loved ones, ladies and gentlemen. Do what you can to help each other out. And like I always say, humanity and merit wins the day. And I'll see you guys all on Sunday on the Fastball Sunday. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
This has been another episode of the Crusty Canuck podcast. Stay sane and thank you for listening. From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast.